You're doing this. You're going to go live.
Yeah, we're live right now. It just takes a little while on my end to upload to stream on the YouTube, but I got my app open on my phone, so I'm able to fucking see it.
So you're doing it on a live, like
Premiere,
a live interview.
premiere, yeah.
Yep, yep.
Cool. All right, so we're gonna kick it off, dude. Welcome back to our channels, Warriors. We are still growing 20,400 subscribers. Today we have another special interview. It's been a minute, man. It's been a minute, but we're reaching out again and came across this guy right here, bro. Why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself? Tell us your name and where you're from.
My name's Buzz. I'm from Stockton, California,
That's
and
what's up. That's what's up, Stockton, bro. Were you born there?
born and raised.
Hell yeah. If you don't mind me asking, how old are you?
I'm 36.
36. All right, I'm 39, so it's kind of right there the same time frame.
Yeah,
Um,
same.
is Stockton? Well, it's probably grown. Has it grown since back before, or is it a
It's
small?
like
Is it a small?
300,000.
300,000. Does everybody know everybody, or no? It's not that small.
Nah, it's pretty big.
Okay. What part of Stockton did you grow up?
I'm from the east side.
Did you know the Diaz brothers?
I've met Nate a couple times. A couple of my good friends actually train with them. Pro fighter. They're not like UFC level, but they're pro and they train with Nate. One of my good friends from back in the day.
Hell yeah,
I
that's
don't know
what's up.
Nate personally, but like I said, I got a couple pictures with them, drank some beers with them and shit. But
So I got mad love for Stockton, bro. I think it's because the 209 stands out, the Diaz brothers stands out, and I happen to go to the academy, the correctional officer academy. You know where that's
in
at right
golf,
there? No,
in
no,
golf.
no, no. The one in Stockton. It was
Okay,
right next to the juvenile.
okay.
Juvenile.
The
Did you ever?
CYA's right there on off Arch Road, right there. I know what you're talking about.
Did you ever go there? Did you ever end up in CYA right there?
Nah, I didn't ever go to juvenile hall. I went straight from my first time ever getting arrested straight to prison.
Good. We're gonna dive right into that right now. Well, not good, but that's where we're gonna start, man.
Yeah, I got you.
Um, You said the east side of Stockton. How is that? Is that hood? Is it
It
ghetto? Is it nice?
it's not nice. It's predominantly whites and Mexicans.
Whites and Mexicans and Stocktons. What other races they be
Yep.
having? All of them?
It's here and there, but it's predominantly whites and Mexicans, paisas, norteños, and white boys, and a whole bunch of dope fiends.
Fuck. Any
Yo,
any Southerners in Stockton? Southern Mexicans.
there used to be when I was younger, but not so much anymore. But back like when I was a kid, there used to be like some Vicky's Town and Playboys used to be out there, but I'm not out there like I was back then either, so I
Right.
don't
But
know.
what?
But from what I hear, they're really not too many anymore.
So you grew up in a not so nice area. How were the gangs? Did you grow up in a gang infested area?
No, yeah, for sure.
For sure.
It's predominantly Norteños as far
Was
as the
it
gangs.
Was it a predominantly norteño hood with some whites sprinkled in there, or you guys kind of just shared the same territory or grew up there?
So I always tell everybody like where I'm from, it's not a gang. It's like it's Genoni Park. That's where we represent. It's more like a brotherhood. Even Mexicans, even when I got locked up, people the guards and everything, not the guards, but like the counselors, like, oh, you're a Norteño, you're from Genoni Park. Actually classified me as a Norteño at first because I had GP tattoos on me and shit, and they're like, oh, that's a Norteño neighborhood. I'm like, nah, it's not like that up here. It might be a little bit different down south. Like it's not a gang. It's more like it's like a brotherhood. Like we're all homies. But my Mexican homies, if they ever go to jail, they're gonna ride with the Northerners, and I ride with you know what I mean. There weren't gangbangers, but there is a lot of Norteño gangs
Okay.
from my neighborhood. Not from where I'm from, but from the east side. If that makes any sense.
No, it makes total sense. So at some point you ended up in jail. What time frame? How old were you when that lifestyle began?
So I'm I'm 36. When I was already in the streets like young age, running around, smoking weed. I was never on no hard drugs, just smoking weed, but carrying guns at a young age, just doing stupid kid shit. Never like extreme, but I was, we were running amok. But not gang banging. Like we're like I said, Mexicans and whites hanging out, doing stupid kid shit, but carrying guns at the same time, smoking weed, selling drugs. And then I caught my first case. I was 19. It was some dumb kid shit. My little cousin, she was like 13 or 14, went to go fight with some other little kids, calls me, hey, I'm gonna go fight these little girls. Can you come, please? Like, just in case. I'm like, okay. So I go over there and they're all fighting, and then the dad comes out. At the time, I was like, fuck this dude, but if that would have been me in the same situation, I would have did exactly what this dude did, right? Your daughters are out but fighting a bunch of kids. There's fucking 20 kids out there surrounding him. He comes up, fucking hits the brakes, jumps out, getting all crazy and trying to fight some little kids. And I was like, and I was an adult, but I wasn't an adult.
Right.
If, you know what I'm saying? I was 19. Dude comes out all crazy, and I fucking picked up a boulder and I threw it at him and dropped the dude. And they gave me a fucking assault with deadly weapon charge, and they charged me with aggravated mayhem. And then fought my case and ended up taking 4 years.
What did they give you mayhem for? Because to my understanding, it's like if you mutilate somebody or something.
So when I hit him in the head, it was just a little bit. I didn't think it was that serious. I hit him in the head. He got back up, fucking squirting blood out of his forehead, and nobody even seen me throw it. I told him myself, bro. I feel like an idiot afterwards because he was like, he thought one of the kids had a little mini Louisville Slugger, and he thought the little kid hit him with the bat. He's like, what? That's all you got? I said, I did that shit, bro. Like trying to get the attention off the little kid. And then next thing you know, cops came and we all took off running and people told on me. But I threw a rock at him and fucking he got they ended up cutting him open from the top of his head to his ear and put a metal plate on his head. So that it's permanent. So mayhem is permanently mutilating or permanently disfiguring somebody. So I didn't get convicted of mayhem, but they put the charge on me. And that's what fucked me because that shit carries life. With the assault with deadly weapon.
Hey, so as you know, man, I used to be a lieutenant for the California Department of Corrections, and me and my buddies, we would go and look at C-files or when they would go to AdSeg and we see mayhem on there, and to us, that shit fucking stood out, man, because we knew what it meant. You know what I mean? Mayhem. It's like
chopping people up with fucking hatchets and shit like that, cutting body parts off. But I didn't get convicted of it. They dropped that and hit me with the assault with the deadly weapon.
I'm tracking. So 19, what jail did you land at?
San Joaquin County Jail in Stockton.
How was that experience for you? Were you ready mentally?
I was prepared. Like I said, I was in the streets already, so it's like I didn't know nothing about politics in jail, nothing, because I didn't know anything. I learned in jail, but when I first got locked up, I was like, oh, I'll probably be out my first court. I didn't think it was that serious because I didn't know how serious his injuries were until I went to court. And then they started talking about it like, oh yeah, he was in a coma for like 3 weeks. He had what is it? What do they call it? Drug induced a coma. So they were keeping him on the meds. So because I guess he started having convulsions in the ambulance. So they put him in a drug induced coma and go to court. When I first I was on the run for like a month. I didn't know it was that serious until I went to jail like a month later, and they were telling me how serious it was.
So you were on the run. Who gaffled you up? Local PD or marshals?
Sheriff.
Sheriff's gaffled you up?
San Joaquin. My neighborhood is police. PD is not really in my neighborhood. It's CHP and sheriff.
Had they been watching you prior to them getting you?
Yeah, because they came to my house and nobody was there. They left the card, and at that time I was like, I didn't even know I was on the run until they left the card on my door to call us. And I was like, all right, I didn't know. I had no idea it was for that because I was doing so much different shit at that time. Okay. So I wasn't sure what the card was for. So I was like, fuck, I'm gonna call him. He's like, oh yeah. He's like, we heard you were a witness at a fight. We just want to get your statement. And I'm like, nah. I was like, I got a couple bullshit warrants because I had a Mustang. I was doing donuts and shit all the time. So I had warrants for not turning myself in for 5 days. He's like, man, we don't care about those chicken shit warrants. We just want want your statement. So I could tell you on the phone. He's like, nah, we need it in person. I was like, nah, I'm cool. And I hung up. They came back a couple times, and then I thought it was all good. So I went home, and they came at like 2 a.m, and they got my ass out of bed in my boxers.
Were you asleep?
Yeah, I was asleep.
Did they kick in your door?
No, my little cousin, she was like 7 years old, opened the door. As soon as the door opens, that gives them the
right.
and they said, "Oh, they said my name? Is he here?" And she was like, "Yeah." As soon as she said that,
man.
Boom. She was a little kid, you know what I mean?
I hear you.
I thought it was a dream because I was in bed. I had work the next day, and I seen the fucking flashlights and the beams on the wall, and I'm like, "What the fuck? Is this a dream?" I'm like, "Don't move, don't move!" Like I was like, "What the fuck?" And then they got me in my fucking boxers, bro. I was sitting in booking for 12 hours in my boxers. Like,
what year was this?
07.
Okay, 07, man. I know we chopped it up a little bit before we started, and I'm like, hey, this time frame, right? There's something to be said about this time frame in particular. So how long were you in jail before you landed in prison?
I fought my case for a whole year. And then I took, they offered me, they started high, you know how it works. They started offering me 12 years. I'm like, yeah, fuck, I'm cool. Like, nah. And they went to 8 to 5. And then the 4 years, they pretty much punked me to take because I didn't not want to take the 4 years because I seen dudes getting less for like more serious stuff. So I'm like, nah, I'm cool. And my lawyer's like, look, if you don't take the 4 years, they want to start trial readiness on Monday. I'm like, fuck. And like with the only thing my lawyer was like, hey, we'll go to trial with what you paid me. Like we'll go to trial. He's like, but I'm telling you, I'm scared for you because the mayhem charge carries life. And he's like, we can't tell the jury that if they convict you of this mayhem charge, that you're gonna, because if you lose trial, they give you the max. So he's like, we can't tell the jury that they're gonna give you life for throwing a rock at somebody. He's like, so either take the 4 years or we're going to trial. I was like, and I didn't really have a case, you know what I mean? I didn't ever admit to anything. I kept my mouth shut, but there was witnesses. So I was like, all right. And I took the 4 years at 85%.
While you were in jail, you ran with the whites?
Yeah, I ran with the Woods. Yep.
Did they put you up on game as far as politics?
Yeah, they laced me up because in county, in our county at least, San Joaquin County, you can play handball, pinochle with everybody. I'm playing pinochle with the blacks, with the Northerners. There's Southsiders in the county, but they put them all by themselves because the Norteños will get their ass. Right. But like I said, if you're at the table, I could play pinochle with blacks, Northerners. I got my hair cut by black dudes. You know what I mean? But they told me like, hey, just so you know, we still the main thing was that you can't smoke or eat with other races, but we could play cards, everything else. And they laced me up like when you go to prison, it's different. Like so, I knew. Like I said, a whole year in the county, I already knew what to expect when I hit that Grey Goose.
Where'd you go to reception?
DVI.
DVI, when DVI was still activated.
Yep.
When you touched down there, were you okay? You said you were mentally prepared for jail. Were you mentally prepared for prison?
Yeah, at that point, I was ready. I wanted to get my time started. I wanted to get out of county and get situated, get programmed.
So the mindset was just like, hey, let's get this shit started so I can get it over with.
Yeah, a whole year in the county. I mean, you got the butterflies, but I was not scared. Like I knew it was like, you obviously you can get hurt in prison way different than county jail, but I was not. I was ready.
So they classified you level 3. You said right off the bat.
Yep.
And what?
Oh, actually, you know what? Actually, so if you want to get into that story, so I went to DVI. And I was level 2, but like 1 point. At that time, it was 28. I don't know if you remember the point system or not. Back then, now it's like way different.
Right.
So it was like 28 points was level 3. I had 23 points because I was young with the years. If you're younger, you get more points. The years, like I have no idea how it works now, but I had 22 or 23 points. I went to DVI, did my reception there, went straight to Susanville, level 2. I went to my committee, and the captain was like looking at my stuff, and he was like, he's like 30 people on one guy. He's like, this is word for word. He said, this is some Mexican shit. He's like, you're not white. He's like, you're a northerner. And I was like, nah. I was like, I'm white. He's like, nah, we're gonna classify you as a northerner. We're gonna add 6 points to your points, and we're gonna send you to Lassen yard. And I laughed. I'm like, whatever. He's like, oh, you're laughing. He's like, you're not gonna be laughing when you go up there and Northern Structure hits you up and they see in your paperwork that you're a North. They try to set me up.
Wait a
Like they're
minute.
gonna.
You mentioned 30-on-1. What was he referring to?
Well, because there was a bunch of people watching. There was a bunch of kids. Like I said, I was the only adult as a 19-year-old, but I was still a
Okay.
fucking kid. But it was 30 people watching a fight. You know how it is with kids. Oh, we're gonna
Right.
meet over here. Let's meet here. Everybody showed up.
So the captain was trying to act hard and
Yeah, he was trying to scare me,
right.
but I was he you know he wasn't doing nothing. Like I said, word for word, he said 30-on-1. He's like, this is some Mexican shit. He's like, we're gonna classify you as a gang member. I said, what gang? He was like, you're an, and on my 128G it said East Side gang member.
Holy shit, dude. Motherfucker just went for it, huh? Just
Yeah,
like
he was trying to pump fear in me, but
that's some Mexican shit. Was the guy
yeah,
white?
yeah, he was a white dude with a fucking straight buzz cut, flat top, old military fucking haircut. Like
I never ain't been up north, man, but I heard they be on that racist like white.
especially in Susanville.
Yeah.
Susanville's all fucking white COs and predominantly white inmates. So but he was trying to, like I said, scare me to be like, oh, you're not gonna be laughing when the Northern Structure hits you up and sees it. Like
So you go from there to wherever you land, and you're fucking classified technically as a northerner on paper.
it didn't say Northerner. It just said East Side gang member.
East Side gang member. So you're still white, and when you show up, did the whites approach you?
Yeah, but I know a lot of people where I'm from, like so I wasn't worried about it. But so he classified me, they jacked my points up and sent me to level. I was on level 2 for like you have 10 days to see the classification or whatever it
Right.
is. But they sent me straight to Lassen yard, and I had some older homies, like they were like, oh, you're gonna like it, it's better, like you're gonna like it better. Cell live in, you don't gonna deal with this dorm bullshit. He's like, but you can get hurt. He told me, just like that. He's like, you can get hurt over there, so just be on your toes, like, and just lace me up, have me prepared.
Right. When you get there, you see anything wild? You see anything violent right off the top?
Uh, I don't remember like timelines exactly, like how soon, but yeah, I definitely seen some dudes get butchered.
Butchered? Weapons?
Yeah, yup,
Other races?
yup. The first, so as soon as I got there, it cracked off with the Northerners and the blacks, and the Northerners were just they were they were getting it. They don't mess around, especially up north. I don't know how many Northerners were where you're at down there, but at that time probably not a
Zero.
lot.
Zero.
But in Susanville, the numbers they had pretty good numbers. They weren't like the Southsiders still outnumbered them. Everybody outnumbered them, but they had like a good. If it cracked off, they were going to be okay.
Now, from what you can remember, were you guys giving the heads up to? Were you guys giving the heads up? Hey, this is gonna kick off. You guys need to stay the fuck out of the way because you're
So
white.
the only reason I knew, because I had a Northerner from Stockton that was my boy, and he came out. He's like, hey bro, he's like, like
Right.
people think like, oh, you can't talk to them, you can't
Right.
fucking talk. But we were walking on the yard, and he's like, hey, bro, he's like, I just want to give you a heads up, like, don't say nothing to nobody. But like, he's like, it's about to go down. He's like, we're gonna get these fucking dudes. And then he's like, so just be on, And first thing I did was to go tell my people, hey, bro, it's about to go down. Like, because they always tell us if it goes down with another race and they run through our area, fucking,
It's on and cracking.
fire. How it is.
Right.
You don't come in our area. If they run through our area, fucking get off. So it's just,
Right.
everybody's on their toes. And
Right.
even if you don't know something's going down, something's going down. Everybody can feel that fucking tension.
Yeah.
Even if he didn't tell me, even the COs, you guys feel the tension right in the air.
I've tried to explain that multiple times on how that feels, because you
Yeah,
can fucking feel it.
So it went down. They were fucking, like I said, the Northerners were stabbed. The blacks, on this yard at least, they're not really known. Blacks aren't really known to have weapons. The Mexicans, the Northerners out, they don't fuck around. They all got fucking knives in their ass.
That's
So them dudes were butchering them, and So they locked it down, and then a couple months later they let how they do 2 cells and 2 cells, cracked off again, and the whole time I was there, they were the Northerners were on lockdown.
That was on a level 3 yard.
Yup.
Okay, for some reason I was imagining level 2, but then
No,
yeah.
as soon as they jacked my points up, I did like
Okay.
not even a whole week on level 2.
What was the building set up like 5 buildings on a yard?
Yup.
Okay.
Building 4 was the ad seg, and then 1, 2, 3, and 5.
And when that one kicked off, did it only kick off on the yards, or did it kick off in the buildings as well?
Just on the yard. They had some. So they had a target on this black dude. I guess he had some funny charges, and the Northerners hit them up like, hey, this dude has some funny charges. Like, you guys got to take care of it. And they're like, nah. And they're like, all right, well, dude has some sex charges. So, nobody wants to be around that. So
Right.
they're like, either you take care of it or we're going to take care of it.
Facts.
So they took care of it, and then his
they
homies had his back.
Did they have bunk beds on the day room at that time?
Nah, no.
No?
I came to Susanville when they just had closed the gym down.
Okay.
So there was no gym. It was just cell living.
Okay, cool. So after that, any more crazy shit that happened at?
That shit died down. Northerners, they let everybody off, and then the worst one I seen, the Southsider get done in pretty. That was the worst stabbing I seen. I seen a couple like minor shit. Sometimes they got the pieces just to prove a point. They're not trying to hurt. Sometimes they're just doing it just to prove the point. They're not trying to kill them now it's different. Now they're killing people like often, but the Southsiders got dude in the day room, which was crazy because usually it happens on the yard, but they got
Right.
this dude in the day room, and we knew it was gonna happen. So I'm on my they had top tier and day room. We're in the bottom tier, and we already knew like, hey, they're gonna get this dude. Southsiders and us fuck with each other pretty tight.
Right.
So they already told us like, hey, stay clear. We're gonna get this dude in day room. So me and my celly are both on the window waiting for it, and I gave it to this dude though. He fought the whole time. 2 big dudes came. Someone hit him, and then they sent the two dudes, and I seen them slide the piece under the other dude's door, and they fucking. But
Got
dude
rid of
didn't ever went down. The dude kept fighting the whole time. He got pepper sprayed worse than the dudes that were fucking getting them.
It's kind of funny you should say that, man, because I've never talked about that. Sometimes we as guards will spray and or shoot the victim more. And it's not that we're doing that shit on purpose. It kind of just fucking plays out that way.
Well, yeah, you see everybody. You just it's a
Right.
At that time you don't know what's going on right away. You just see people
Right.
fighting. Of course, you're gonna. Dude didn't even go down. The 2 dudes that were getting the gunners, not the what do they call it? Like
Yeah.
the bombers. The 2
Yeah.
bombers went down before that dude. He was still standing,
Oh,
and they
shit.
they blasted him in the face, and he's like, fucking poor guy.
But you said they got him good though?
Yeah, he was leaking.
So when you would see stuff like that, and I know you said you were mentally prepared, did that give you anxiety or did that nothing?
Nah, bro. Like I said, I'm fucking. I was crazy. Like I said, I'm a little guy, but I was fucking. I had to be with it, due to my size, and people would always test. Not in prison because it's a lot of respect, but even on the streets, like people would always try to test me, and I was known for taking it to the next level with weapons. I'm gonna win. I'm gonna win regardless. At that time. Now it's obviously a whole different mindset. I'm willing to let shit go, and
Definitely.
I'm a father. I got too much to lose now.
Definitely.
But yeah.
Tracking. So were the whites handling business, cleaning house?
There was removals often, but when I was in Susanville, it wasn't really like the whites never. I didn't see them ever stab anybody in Susanville. It was mostly just hands-on, 2-on-1s, get them out of here, But never no weapon. I got asked to do a removal a couple times. I get a couple removals. When Arizona, we were talking about when I went to Arizona, I got a couple little incidents out there.
Before I jump to Arizona,
Yep.
and while we're still talking about whites, did you ever come across weapons?
No, yeah, for sure. I didn't have one myself, but I would move them around. Hey, bro, can you take this to yard? Like I would pass shit along, but I didn't ever have one on me. I didn't feel like I didn't need it, and I only had 4 years, so I didn't want to get caught with this fucking knife and end up catching a year or whatever it is that they give them.
as you were in possession of these, and did you ever look at them and think like, "That is a pretty damn good knife"?
Yeah, hell yeah. And one time I found like a good. Someone tried to hide it because we share spots with the Southsiders. I found a nice. It was not made yet, but it was a good weapon stock. And I showed my homeboy. I'm like, hey, bro, I just found this. He's like, oh, I'll take that, And then they took it. But yeah, that shit ain't no joke.
So
I'm
since
sure you
I've
guys have found a bunch of
well
knives on the yard.
since I've came out, like since day one, man, I've always said the whites made the best weapons. And I say that because as a guard, you're responding to every race stabbing the shit out of each other. So you look
Yep.
at all you collect all the weapons, right? That's not to say that the other races didn't make good weapons, because clearly they did, right? And they're killing motherfuckers. But
Mhm.
I'm just talking about the detail and the wrapping of the just
The
dude, it's
handles.
like fucking immaculate.
Yep.
Um, yeah, that's something I always fucking notice, man. Even the ice pick type weapons with the big ass screws.
Yep.
That's why I asked you, man. You ever look at that shit and say like, "Damn, that's a pretty damn good fucking knife."
Oh
Uh,
yeah, I've seen a bunch. Like, and I had to tuck. One time it was crazy. I thought for sure I was fucking done. They asked me to go hide one in the yard, so I went and hit it by the silver bullet on the the shitter on the yard. Literally, I tucked it under the shitter, and we do a half a lap. The alarm goes off. Boom! Everybody get down. And they have us all. They didn't make us prone out. They just made us sit on our ass, and it was in the snow.
ooh,
And so they come out, a whole crew. It was like a planned. They stripped shirts. We were out there for 3 hours in the snow as they went. Every single person on the yard got stripped out in the snow. And I thought for sure, I was like, damn, they seen us, like they seen us hide the knife. But they
so
did. They just did a random fucking.
I'm glad you mentioned that, man, because here's why. Those days of putting the yard down and randomly patting down inmates or strip searching them are over. Those things are a thing of the past, man, long gone, right? These new officers coming in or even these new inmates coming in, they don't realize like what you guys went through at that time. Motherfuckers, hey, put the yard down, right? It's ISU, the goon squad comes up. Hey,
Yep.
everybody get up against the fucking wall. Right? That's just the
Yep.
way it was, man. So from Susanville, did you
I
go to
was
Arizona after that?
Yeah, I was in Susanville. I got there, so I caught my case in 2007 of July, and on my 21st birthday, I was in DVI on a lockdown, and I went to Susanville, and I was there for exactly 1 year from July. So I got locked up in July. Um, Went to Susanville in July. That 1 year later, and then from there, I don't remember. It was like a year and some change when they shipped me to Arizona, the out of state transfers.
Have had other people already gone to out of state? Like, did you
Yep,
anticipate it or did you knew that that was a thing?
yep. So I was working in the kitchen at the time, and they put me up for transfer, and this dude, because I'm sure you're familiar, but when you get like 90 days of the house, they send you back to California for the last 90 days.
Yeah.
And this dude had came from Oklahoma back to Susanville, and he's like, man, and I told him, I was like, man, I was like, fuck that, I was like, I don't want to go. He's like, nah, bro. He's like, it's fucking. He's like, it's sick. Like, he's like, considering what the circumstance. He's like, you got Xbox,
Oh,
cable, fucking TV. The cells are fucking giant. You can have a
wow.
fucking Royal Rumble in that cell. Like in a California cell, you get in a fight. I'm
Yeah.
I'm I'm 100 and fucking 55 pounds. I don't not want to fight in a fucking. I want to be able to move around. In Arizona, it's like more than double the width, and the bunks are on the back wall, so it's even more open. It's like wide. It's like a damn near like a bedroom.
So for the viewers out there that have never been inside a California prison cell, if you get in a fight with another person in there, you're gonna
And,
be punching the bunk, the
oh, I
shell.
got. I fought my cellie actually, and I was all cut up on my arm from the shelves, just from trying to swing, hitting my arm on the shelves, like.
Yeah.
And it's literally, like you put your elbow on this wall, you put your arm out. That's your
Right.
fucking. You can't even both be out on the floor at the same time.
That's true.
Your celly gets up to take a piss, you go up on your rack just to get out the way.
That's that's true. So were you
But
giving
Arizona
any?
was.
Well, before you
No,
go to
go ahead.
Arizona, were you giving any direction from your people? Where, hey, this is what you do, or this is what you don't do when you get to Arizona.
Well, so the thing is, it wasn't that. It was kind of relatively new. Like there wasn't a lot of people that were familiar with it,
All
and
right.
you were going to basically a California prison in Arizona.
I'm gonna need you to explain that, like right now.
So you weren't going to an Arizona prison. You were going to a California prison that they're renting that
Okay,
facility in Arizona.
that's news
But
to me.
but the COs were fucking basically like free staff, rent a cops. These dudes did like a 2 week class. It wasn't like you guys the training and all that shit. These dudes could fucking come off the street in 2 weeks and you're a correctional officer with fucking killers. But they would not send lifers out of state.
Right.
So the buildings were way different layout. As far as like the visual, like it was like I never been to a 180 yard, but they said the Arizona's like built like a 180, like the rotunda in the middle and
Yeah.
the way the pods were laid out. Um, and it was all California inmates, so we didn't program with, and it was still California rules, California inmates in an out of state prison. So it was basically like they took fucking 300 inmates or however 1,000 inmates and took them to this California prison. They had a California captain that would do all your, like there was a captain from California. He was the only one in the fucking CDCR jumpsuit or whatever. All the other guys were wearing white fucking, they looked like security guards.
Do you remember the captain?
The regular correction officers.
Do you remember the captain's name?
Nah, I couldn't tell you.
Those correctional officers, rent cops with the 2 week academy, were they Arizona correctional officers or less than that?
Not even. It was a private prison.
Oh,
There were
wow.
CCAs. It was called CCA. I don't remember what it stood for, but it was literally a private prison.
Yeah.
They weren't Arizona State. It was a private prison. So the first one I went to was La Palma. It was all California. The whole prison was all California inmates. And then they transferred us. I was out there for like 2 years. After like the first year, they transferred us to another facility, which was still the same thing, CCA.
Core Civic.
Correctional.
Core Civic of America?
I just remember it was CCA prisons.
Yeah.
So they switched us. They flipped us. They were the yard we went to was all SNY because I was active the whole time. I paroled active. Fucking went back again the second time active. But they flipped the yard. So they're like I worked in education and my boss was a CO. He's like, oh man, he's like, I don't want these fucking dudes. Nobody wants to fucking be around those type of people. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And he was like, man, he's like, it sucks. They're sending you guys out. He's like, we're gonna have to deal with these dudes. I'm like, yeah, bro. Like, you're about to get paid to fucking protect the chomo. I would joke with him like he wasn't my friend, but we were cool. We had a good working relationship.
Yeah, rapport.
But yeah, exactly. And so they swapped us. But so at that prison, we went to Red Rock. They had other inmates from Hawaii and Alaska and Washington there, but we didn't program with them. One building was California, one was Hawaii, one was Alaska, one was Washington. But the church services, they would let everybody go to the services. So they had, I don't know if you probably know, like the Odinist, the skinhead.
Yeah. Right.
So they had a service for the Odinist. So all these fucking skinheads and white boys would go to that, and they were talking to these dudes, and they're like, oh yeah, like, and they end up getting a roster of all those dudes' names, and everybody has phones. They start searching these people's names, like, oh, all these dudes are fucking sex charges, this and this. So they go to the next weekend, they go to the Odinist service, like, hey, bro, this dude, they're all sex. You guys got to get rid of these dudes, or we're gonna fucking get off on you. And they're like, nah, like we don't get down like that. They're like, all right. So they come back and they're talking like, all right, they got a hit squad together. We're gonna go to this Odinist service and we're gonna fuck these dudes up. So they went to the Odinist service and they fucking got off on all the dudes from Washington, and fucking they stopped that instantly.
Holy shit, dude!
It was a melee. They fucked them up good.
I think it's fucking crazy that you had dudes from Alaska, Washington, Cali, and
Hawaii.
And Hawaii, no less. So then you had a group of whites from Washington that had R's on their jackets, sex offenses, and the whites from Cali's researched them and told the whites from Washington, handle your people.
Yep, or we're gonna handle you guys.
And they're like, no, we don't be playing that Cali
We don't. Yeah,
politics.
exactly. They're like, we don't. That's California shit. We don't get down like that. And they're like, oh, it's all good. You know, they
All
made
right.
it think it was cool. It's
Yeah.
all good. So the next time they sent the whole crew of like 10 or 15 white guys, and they fucked them dudes up pretty good.
I had to
Yup.
throw that in there, man. I'm telling you, California moves different, bro.
Oh
We
no, yeah.
we're,
Like when I watch a lot of YouTube, you know what I'm saying? I hear like I hear how they get down over there. Like pretty much white guys in the other states are almost victims. You know what I mean? Like Florida and all that. Like they,
Alabama.
yeah, the white boys are pretty much victims. You know,
Yeah.
because how it is out there. But California, California's a whole different fucking ball. It's a whole different breed.
I'm laughing, man, because of what you just said and the truth behind it, and the whole Norway project of I don't even know if you're familiar with that.
And them CO, they're not prepared for that type of shit.
Oh, let's
They
talk
don't
about
have
that.
gunners.
Let's talk about that. So you got these 2-week Rent-A-Cop private COs. They're dealing with some real fucking motherfucking gangsters from Cali. They
Yup.
weren't prepared
As long as
for
you didn't
that.
have life, you can go. There was dudes there with 30-year sentences without the L, which is basically for some people that's life. But if you
When
had an L on your shit, you couldn't not go there.
when a melee kicks off in Arizona, can you tell by
Oh,
observing the guards that they're either panicked, scared, confused?
dude, it's fucking. If it cracks off in those buildings, you can get fucked up because if you're in the building, it's what is it, 60 cells, so 120-man building. When you walk in, it's three rotundas, A, B, and C, and they got the rotunda that controls all the doors in the middle. The CO is not in the building with you. They come in and do their checks and they leave back to the rotunda. There's no gunner, so if it cracks off in there, you can get fucked up. Like there's no gunner to stop anything, and those guys are not prepared for a riot, not whatsoever. Anybody in the comments that has been there will know they are not prepared for anything like that.
I need you to give an example of like their demeanor of when shit was kicking off. Like, what did they?
They'll fucking run out the build. They'll run out and close the door. I've seen them like shit crack. Even a removal, they fucking run out and then they wait for backup, and then they run in there with their pepper ball paint. They come in with the paintball guns
This
and
is
pepper spray.
this is beautiful, bro. This is music to
Dude,
my
it's
ears,
fucking.
man.
I was like, damn, and it was crazy because out of 120 people in the building, there was 5 white cells. So there's 10 of us. If it ever cracked off with us and the Southsiders or the blacks, we would have got murdered. Literally, we would have fucking got murdered by the time they could have fucking stopped it. Because
Now,
at that time, Northerners had their own whole building because they had them at first together and it cracked off with the north and the south. So they were like, "Fuck this!" They filled a whole building up with all Northerners
right.
and everybody else, whites, others, Southsiders, blacks.
So those fucking COs from Arizona, compare them to a California CO.
Oh, you can't fucking compare. Those dudes are not ready. Their little pepper sprays are the little fucking ones your wife carries on her keys.
Right.
Like they were not prepared for anything to crack off.
Looking back in hindsight, did that make you feel safer knowing that, hey, in Cali, those COs are going to stop the violence?
Well, at least if I'm getting stomped the fuck out, I mean, I'm only gonna get stomped out for a minimal. You could get killed no matter what, obviously.
Right.
But if it's just even with weapons, even if it's just a fight in Arizona, you can die from just getting your fucking head stomped in because by the time they come in, even if like I said, I was in that building with 10 white boys and like 70 Southsiders. So imagine if it cracked off. 70 Southsiders, we fuck with them. We're tight, but we go out with them more than anybody because we deal with them so much. Gambling, anything, business, dope debts, all that shit.
And it doesn't take much to spark that fucking fire for it to ignite.
Any little thing, especially when they're that deep, everybody when they got the numbers, they
posture. I'm telling
Yep.
you, man. I was in a gym full
Yep.
of fucking Southsiders and Paisas. I'd be saying this. When you have one race, it is a fucking game changer.
Yeah, and they know nobody's gonna fuck with them.
Correct.
I don't care if they're a bunch of 5 foot Southsiders. There's 100 of them against fucking 10, 200 pound white guys. It doesn't matter. Eventually, a matter of time. The first 3 or 4 might get knocked out, but it's a matter of time before you're gonna get swarmed by these
Oh,
dudes.
oh, bro, you're spitting pure gold, man. You're making me laugh because of
And
like
it's all and
I'm
like I
reminiscing.
said, I got my YouTube channel, bro, but I haven't. It's been like almost a year since I was into it at first. I got like
Yeah.
almost 5,000 subscribers, and it was fun. And then it just you
So
know
so
got old.
besides the Wild Wild West, did they have Xboxes?
I fucking This is the best time I ever did. Those 2 years for sure, by far. So I
You
got
guys
Xbox, and you got cable TV. You got 50 channels with an Xbox on your rack with a giant cell.
did you? I mean, I mean, would it be in the norm to get high and play Xbox?
Oh, definitely. Like I said, I never was into hard drugs, but I would smoke my weed and fucking play Madden all day. We did a 3 month lockdown. It was after that shit happened with when they got off on those Washington inmates. We were on lockdown for 3 months. I was like, let it's nothing. I got cable TV and I had PlayStation. They had PlayStation, but I had a PlayStation. I'd wake up in the morning. So if you can picture it, the back of the cell, your bed, your racks are going this way instead of this way. So and you have a shelf at your feet for your
Okay.
TV. I would fucking wake up. I would turn my fucking Xbox on with my big toe, grab my controller, and fucking play Madden as soon as I woke up. 3 month lockdown was fucking lovely. And you can still go to store on lockdown because they will deliver it to your cell. So like, fuck, keep me on lockdown. I gotta worry about catching time. I don't gotta worry about these fucking essays packing us out.
Right.
So I'm like playing Madden all fucking day,
Holy
watching
shit,
ESPN,
bro.
Monday Night Football, fucking cable TV, History Channel, USA, TNT, fucking it.
You
It
guys
was
were
like I
wild.
said,
You
if
guys
you're
were
gonna do
wild,
prison
bro.
time, that was the place to do it. Considering it's still prison, but it's not.
Hey, did you guys ever see the Washington inmates after that incident?
Nah, fuck no. They didn't fuck around after that. California ended up stepping in towards like my last 6 months, and they were like, nah. Like they started having COs there, not like in the buildings, but they had the captain and like a couple guys. Like they shut shit down after that.
They shut it down. So
Yo,
you mentioned you went other out of state, Oklahoma,
no,
Mississippi.
that the dude that was talking to me about it came from Oklahoma. I only stayed in Arizona
Okay, yo, Arizona. How long did you do there?
like almost 2 years, and then
Oh
when I got
fuck.
about 90 days to the house, they sent me to Solano level 3.
Prior to you going to Arizona, did the counselor or anybody give you a heads up, like, "Hey, man, this is the new program we're doing. You're gonna go out of state"?
They called me for my annual, and they're like, okay, we're gonna put you up for out of because at first the first criteria for out of state was if you got visits, they wouldn't send you out of state. But I got visits, and Susanville for me was like a 3.5, 4 hour drive maybe or something like that from Stockton. So I got visits like once a month.
Right,
My family would come. I didn't have kids or nothing then. I was 19, no kids, no fucking. I had a girlfriend, but it wasn't like
right, right.
it was just stupid
Got
little
you.
it was nothing serious. So I was like, when I get visits, they're like, oh, we don't give that. That doesn't that don't fly no more. Like you're going. Like there's nothing you can do. And as far as inmates go, you can't refuse movement. So I
Right,
can't be like, no, I'm not going. You can't refuse movement. So it's like if they want to put you in a cell, even a cell change, hey, we're gonna throw you in a cell with this. Because I don't know if I'm sure you do remember when they were talking about integrating races. Do you remember when that shit was happening
yeah.
around that time?
That what year was that?
'08.
That
they,
is
they put it in the title. What is it? Title 15. That
Title
they can
15.
sell you up with other races. So that was a big ass ordeal. Like, oh, like, and if they put you in the cell with this black dude, you can't be like, no, I'm not going. You have to
Right,
go in there,
right,
and then you have to get off on this dude.
right.
Like, and it was a big ass ordeal because I was always tight with everybody that had the keys to the yard. I was always in the mix, so I always knew every move. I knew everything. I was nobody. You know what I'm saying? I
Right.
was not part of nothing. I'm just a regular white boy. But I always knew what was going on. And there was a big ass meeting about it. Like, man, how can we tell? He literally pointed me out like, how can I tell Buzz 150 pounds that if they send him to this 300-pound black dude's cell, that he has to let the door shut and fire on this dude. Like he's like, it's fucked up
Fuck.
because that was the rules. You could not refuse a cellie. You could not refuse movement. So they were like, oh, I was like, I couldn't fight it. So they shipped me out of state and fucking it was what it was. But they didn't. They just basically said, like, hey, you're going. That's it. They didn't tell me nothing about the program. They just said basically like a normal transfer in your annual. Hey, you're going to fucking Solano. You're going here. Hey, we're putting you up for out of state. But they didn't tell me what state. They just said
Now,
you're going out of state.
now when
Because
you're
at that
getting,
time they had Oklahoma, Mississippi, and Arizona was the 3 CCA facilities.
yeah. Now when you were getting short to the house in Arizona, did you want to leave Arizona or you were ready to leave Arizona?
Well, yeah, I was ready to get back to Cali, and I was short time and at that point,
Right.
so I was ready. I was ready to go home.
And at the time that you went, in between that time and you going home, did anything transpire or everything smooth sailing?
It was cool. I went to Solano. Solano was cool because it was close to home, hour from Stockton. I got my visits. My mom and shit would come like the last few months, so I got out. It was, and actually that was the only prison that I haven't been to like a whole bunch of prisons, but that was the only prison I ever been to that the Northerners outnumbered the Southsiders.
Solano?
Yeah, that's a Northerner facility for sure. For that I don't know about now. I'm talking about 2010, 11.
Right. Um, did you say you ended up in high desert?
I did. So my second term,
So tell me
I
about
went.
you. Tell me about you getting out and then you caught another term.
So I went to Solano, did 90 days there, paroled. I was out for like 6 months. I didn't learn my lesson, bro. I was only 23 years old when I did the 4 year. I did the whole 4 years because I did the removals, caught some time, did the whole 4 years in there when I paroled from Solano. I was out 6 months, and this one was fuck. I don't know if you've seen this video. I got into it at the river. We were floating, drinking, everybody's having a good time. I got into it with some dude, and I fucking literally a fucking full Corona just like this, and I knocked him out with the bottle, and I ended up getting arrested at the scene. And this dude walks up, like, let me get a good look at this dude. He's like, all right, I got you, motherfucker. And I'm in the back of the cop car, cuffed up, like, yeah, whatever, tough guy, right? So I go to booking in county, and I call my cousin. And I was like, damn, bro. Like, he's like, damn, bro. He's like, it's all bad. He's like, that's Wooty Whoop's dad. He's like, he's a fucking correction officer in DVI. I was like, oh my fucking God. So I go to DVI. I fought it in the county. I took 2 years on that one. My lawyer fucking came through and got me 2 years. I go to DVI and R&R. They call me, hey, come up. They're going through my shit. She's like, oh, she looks at my name. She's like, oh, she's like, we've been waiting for you. And I
Oh
was like,
fuck.
and I was like, what? She's like, oh, you didn't think word would get around? She's like, you like bottles? I'm like, what do you mean? She's like, beer bottles. And I was like, oh, fuck. She's like, you didn't think word would get around that fast, did you? I was like, oh, fuck. I'm like, because them they can fuck you, bro, if they want.
Definitely.
They're a gang too. You know what I mean?
No,
They're a
I hear
gang
you.
too. So they politic. And I was like, damn. And I was there for like about a week, and I'm walking through the hallway, and I see the dude's dad. He's patting dudes down that kind of he knew what building I was in. Obviously, he probably looked me up, seen what I was in C wing at the time, and he's patting down skinny white dudes that kind of resemble me. I'm like, fuck. I try to put my head down. He's like, come here. Turn around, put arms out. He grabbed my ID out. He's like, oh, I thought that was you. He's like, you like beer bottles, motherfucker. He's like, well, dude. I'm like, fuck. I'm like, I don't know what you're talking about. He's like, get the fuck out of here. And my celly was like a few people behind me. And we go back to the cell, and I was like, he's like, yeah, bro. He's like, what the fuck was that? I was like, that's the fucking dude's dad. And he was like, oh, I was like, what did they say after? And so the dude that I knocked out, his brother was a convict, did a bunch of years in prison, and his dad was a CO. So every time he would go to DVI, they'd transfer him somewhere else. And the other CO was like, oh, is that a friend of your son's? He's like, nah, he fucking knocked my son out with a beer bottle. And I was like, fuck. That night, fucking 10 cops come to my cell. I'm like, oh, here we go. And they're like, cuff up. And they took me to ADSEG and fucking put me in K-Wing. And they did a security fucking sent me to High Desert reception
Wow, bro.
on the level 3 yard.
Um,
I was relieved, bro, because I was like, I'm gonna go to yard and they're gonna fucking come snatch me up and say they found some dope in my cell or a fucking. I was scared to get set up. You know what I mean? Because like I said, they're a gang too.
I just dropped a fucking video 2 days ago talking about like different type of criminal cops, planting evidence or planting a knife,
Oh yeah, it happens.
that may or may not be a situation where that might transpire.
But I was fucking scared. I didn't care about that. If they beat my ass, beat my ass. I'd rather beat my ass than fucking plant some
That's
dope
it.
in my cell and me catch a new case
That's
when I already
interesting.
have a strike. You know.
Yeah.
So I was fucking scared.
Damn, dude. But ultimately, what it probably ended up happening, there's a form. There's a form that we fill out. It says, do you want this person here? How do you know him? And then they got you shipped out, emergency transfer.
Yep,
Motherfucker,
they sent
actually.
me the next day. Like I was in K Wing for a couple days. I didn't even transpack. They came at like 2 in the morning. Hey, let's go. I'm like, where the fuck am I going? They're like, don't worry about it. Get your shit. Let's go. And they fucking threw me on my own little. I didn't even go in the bus. I went on a private, the little van, comfortable, which I was glad because it was comfortable as fuck and sent my ass to high desert.
Did you eat? Did you get to eat food in DVI?
Like what do you mean? Like as far
Well, I'm
as
just saying, like, there's certain little things that you can do if you want to either like fuck somebody over, or maybe forget to feed them, or say that person refused to
oh no, yeah,
trade.
yeah. And it was crazy because the AdSeg tier cop came up. He's like, oh, you know McInturf. That was the CO's name was McInturf.
Oh, they were all over you.
No, but I don't think he knew the whole details.
Okay.
He thought I was friends with the other son.
Okay.
And I was like, fuck, they're gonna fucking fuck with my food. Like but he thought I was friends with his son. He's like, oh, you know Jeff McIntyre? I'm like, yeah. He's like, oh, his dad, I know his dad hella good. We go this and this. He thought I was a friend of him. That's why he thought I was getting transferred because I was his friend. He didn't. I don't think he didn't know the whole extent.
Damn, dude, you were wild with it. You crack a dude with a rock, you crack a dude with a bottle, then you find yourself in High Desert State Prison.
So I was on, but I didn't go to the real high desert. I just
Okay,
did
okay.
reception there on the level 3 A yard. But I mean, it's still prison's prison. But I didn't
Right.
go to the main line in high desert. I went to reception and they shipped me right back to Susanville, same place I came from. But then my points dropped. That was the only time I did level 2 was just like a few months because I only got 2 with half. My lawyer got the strike struck in, and instead of getting 80%, they gave me 2 with half. I fought it for a few months. I was in reception for damn near fucking 4 months. So by the time I hit the yard, level 2, I only had a few months left. So that was the only time I did level 2 dorm living.
How did you like the dorm living compared to the cell living?
I liked it honestly because even on a lockdown, you could still fucking interact. You could have a full pinochle game with 4 people. Like it has its pros and cons. You know what I mean?
Was there lockdowns?
On the level 2, yeah, but not like nothing major. Like oh, short staff, fucking you're slammed. That fucking excuse to fucking keep us in there.
During your both terms, either or, what was the longest time you guys were on an actual lockdown? Or you were
Arizona was like 90 days. That was the most
90
lockdown.
days?
That was when we got off on them Washington dudes.
Still think that's hilarious, man. But
I say I don't regret anything, bro, because I feel like uh I'm a success story to
yeah, for
I'm
sure,
not
bro.
but I was never on no hard drugs. I was never a dope fiend, so I was just violent. and so I got out. Like I said, I got the last time I paroled was August of 2012. So that's the last time I
What
walked away and
what
started a
was
family. I bought a house up in the hills. I'm a form. I run big ass projects. I'm a foreman electrician. Like I
that's what's
make
up.
good money. Like
So what
got a
was it
beautiful
for
wife, beautiful kids.
hell yeah.
I made it. I made it to I'm not where I want to be, but I made it.
You're not in prison, bro. That's a fucking win-win-win
And,
right there.
oh yeah, for sure.
What was it for you that made you change? I mean, you were fucking violent for so long, and then it went the other direction.
I had my son, bro. I had my oldest son, and now that I was like, all right, now I got something to lose. Before I didn't have nothing to lose. I had my family, but it's not the same. Like my family, as far as like my parents and my grandparents, like not my own family. Once I had my son, I was like, all right, time to grow up, and be a man.
I get it,
Started
bro.
working, got a job as an electrician, and then never looked back. See, I've been doing electric. I've been an electrician for 11 years now.
Where did you learn the trade of being an electrician?
I just got opportunity happen. I was fucking. I knew a guy that worked at a company, and they hired me to just be a shop bitch, fucking cleaning and sweeping. Next thing worked my way into the field, and now, like I said, now I'm a foreman. I run big ass jobs.
Fuck yeah, that's what's up,
Yo,
dude. Um, Did you have a hard time finding employment when you got out, or it was kind of you?
Nah, I was only out. I got out in August of 2012. I started electrical in December
That's good,
of
man.
2012.
That's good. That's good.
So like I said, it was just I was literally washing trucks and sweeping. I wasn't like I was an electrician from the gate.
Right,
I
right,
was a
right.
laborer.
Hell yeah.
But I got my foot in the door and fucking kicked that motherfucker open, and you know what I mean. Now, like I said, I make good money. I got a nice house up in the hills. It's my I bought. Well, me and my wife, we bought this house 3 years ago.
Did you seek any type of treatment, such as anger management or anything like that?
I didn't seek it. They fucking made me do it.
Where?
Parole made me do
Oh,
it. Do
parole
it.
made you do it?
Yep.
Did you find it to be helpful?
Nah, that
No.
shit ain't helping.
So ultimately,
It was
you're
basically they made it was anger management, but it was a domestic violence class, but it was all the same class. But I
right,
didn't have to do the 52 weeks. They just made me do like the 12 weeks. But it was
right.
the same class. It wasn't. I just learned on my own just to let like before, bro. Like uh, what call it you like a little man complex? Not that, but it's like I wouldn't. Someone bumps into me at the bar and they, oh, excuse me, bro, my bad. All right, it's all good, you know. But if someone bumps into me, don't say nothing like, hey, motherfucker, you know, like I wouldn't let shit slide. That was my problem. You know, I wouldn't let shit slide. Like I'm gonna bust your shit with this bottle, with that rock, whatever I can grab. Now, totally, I'm fucking. I know. I learned how to let little shit go. You know.
I get it, man. I totally get it, and I'm exactly the same way now because I used to be probably that same way back then.
Yeah, yeah.
Um,
I didn't let shit slide. Someone asked what yard I was on in Solano. I was on yard one, which was a level three, but it was yard one and no, I was on yard two. One, two, three, and four.
do you think part of the reason that you changed, or the reason we realized you realized that it is not worth it to react like that because of the consequences and the violence, because of the you can see the harm being done?
Uh, and I don't got nothing to prove now. You know what I mean? Like at
There it
that
is
when I
too.
was younger, I felt like I had something to prove. Like I said, I'm a little dude. Like I got something to prove. Now it's like people, oh, I fucking punked that dude. Okay, that's cool, bro. Like
with with
you
that
know,
message right there, with that message right there, what would you say to the young kids that still think they have something to prove? Prove.
I, I feel like I'm not the best person to give it advice like that, but I don't. That's a tough one, bro. Like I'm not the best at like giving advice because I learned the hard way. You know what I mean? Like, and my little brother, he's like in his 20s, and he's a fucking knucklehead. I'm like, bro, you're gonna. I try to talk to him, but you know, goes one in, and the same thing. I had older homies that would try, hey, bro, calm down, like chill, and I'm like, nah, fuck that. You know, one ear out there that you gotta learn. You're gonna listen to your OG homies, or you're gonna learn the hard way. And I learned the hard way.
You're gonna mind somebody.
Oh yeah, for sure.
You're gonna mind
Now I know though,
somebody.
like I said, with the cops, with fucking COs, you're not gonna win.
Right.
You're never gonna win. So just and I give what I get. You know, if you respect me, like I coach right now, with one of my co-coaches is a Lodi police officer. One of them is actually a correctional officer. He was in death. He worked at death row for years. Now he's right here in Mule Creek. I always talk shit to him like, bro, you're over there with the worst of the worst at Mule Creek because that's where all the scumbags are at. So I always talk shit to him like, bro, you're over there with the fucking worst of the worst.
Bro, we are in 2023.
Totally.
Everybody is everywhere right now. Every
Prison,
prison.
prison is not prison anymore.
It's not, dude. It is not, man. We talked about it a little bit before, man. I just, oof. Um, you have any closing statements you want to say? I know you say you didn't have no not good words for the
I mean,
kids.
no, I don't know, bro. You know,
So, nah, man, I appreciate you coming on here. We linked up not too long ago via email.
oh,
I appreciate you sharing your story. I want to
that's it.
congratulate you on all your fucking success, bro. Like, dude, that is not an easy task. I know it's not. Changing your ways, changing your behaviors, growing up, accepting
Yep.
responsibility, accountability. So my hat's off to you, dude.
I appreciate it. Like I said, I feel like I'm a good success story. You know, like I
Fuck
said,
yeah.
I'm not nothing crazy, but I made it out. Cause where I come from, a lot of people don't. I'm from. It's not. It's hood where I'm from. It's ghetto. It's fuck, but it's white and Mexican ghetto. You know what I mean? It's not, but it's still it's the hood. Anybody that knows that's from Stockton or from Central, from anywhere, everybody knows Stockton is with it. So I feel like, like I'm a good success story. I made it.
For the viewers out there, man, and I haven't touched on this, but like these individuals that come on this channel and share their story, or on any YouTube channel that share a similar story, these are not easy fucking tasks by any means, man. Overcoming cultural issues, behavioral issues, mental health, trauma issues is not fucking easy at all, man.
Yep.
The stigma, right? Stigma of coming out all tattooed and having people think, oh, this person's gonna look down on me, or that I'm not
Yep.
gonna get it. You know what I mean? So I commend you guys, man, and I keep it real. I shoot right down the fucking middle, man. I'm a
No,
straight
yeah,
shooter.
and same thing with like at one time I used to be like, oh fuck the police, fuck the
Right.
COs, and now it's like we're all we're all men, we're all just doing our job. Like there's piece of shits in every race. There's piece of shit COs. There's
Right.
piece of shit cops. It's
Right.
not a group. It's just there's piece of
Facts.
shits everywhere,
Fuck yeah.
and there's solid motherfuckers everywhere.
Boom. Hell yeah. We're going to close it with
Mhm.
that. Mic drop. There's fucking solid warriors everywhere.
Yep.
So again, thank you guys. Hope you guys like that. Hey, stay on, bro, because I'm going to close it out. With that,
Yes, sir.
keep pushing forward.